Hey guys, welcome back to Draw with Araine. I know it's been a while and I've been a little inconsistent and I'm sorry about that. I'm trying my hardest to fix that. So I spent some time thinking about what it is I can do to keep people entertained while drawing. And I know a lot of people like my time drawings, and I figured I'll do some reaction videos while doing some time drawings, and that way you can like hear my thoughts on stuff. I'm always watching documentaries on YouTube, so why not just like while drawing, watching documentaries, record myself and put them out, you know what I mean? Yo, what's up everybody? So for today's episode of Draw with Araine, I'm gonna show you how I set up right here, and I'm gonna go over I'm working on this drawing for Lil Baby, one of my favorite rappers right now, and I figured I'd watch a few documentaries on him, or on 4PF while I'm drawing him. So let's get right into it, and I'm gonna just move my mic over here. We're gonna start off with watching 1090 Jake. I don't know if you guys know about that YouTuber, but I'll be watching him a good bit. He's pretty good with like hip hop news and stuff in the rap world. So let me just start off.
It's 1090 Jake. Man, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS.
Right.
It's 1090 Jake, you know what?
And while I'm doing this though, I'm gonna try to have the video showing down at the bottom of the screen once again, just like a time lapse of what I'm doing, so that you see what I'm drawing while I'm drawing it, or you see the entire drawing maybe over the course of a minute throughout the entire video. Alright, start.
Rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on P from the QC music label, the CEO of the music label, snitching on a man and getting him a 20-year prison sentence. May 27th, 2010. It was 8:45 p.m. when an off-duty officer working at the Lenox Mall in Atlanta advised over the radio he was with a man who stated a black man named Keon was leaving the mall in a brown tinted four-door, and that Keon was wanted for murder. 2 additional officers responded to the area.
If you're wondering why I'm starting with this, it was honestly the first video that came up when I searched for 4PF. This video is about a beef. I think I'm gonna just start off with this one. We got this video here by Video Messiah. I've never watched this person's work before, so let's just hop into it and see how it goes.
See the police and shoot you, ain't know that you there, but you tell you to freeze. If I see what I see, I guess they mean.
Dominic Jones, born December 3rd, 1994, known professionally as Little Baby, was born in Atlanta, Georgia in the Oakland City neighborhood. He grew up in Atlanta's West End, a historic neighborhood, Georgia in the Oakland City 1994, known professionally. Dominic Jones, born December 3rd, 1990.
Yo, he born the same day as my brother. Well, December 3rd, but same year as me. Damn, so he 28 right now. He about to be 29 at the time of this recording.
94, known professionally as Little Baby, was born in Atlanta, Georgia in the Oakland City neighborhood. He grew up in Atlanta's West End, a historic neighborhood where burned houses blend with encroaching gentrification and emerald green trees. He was 2 years old when his father left the family, leaving his single mother to raise him and his 2 sisters. While he was not struggling academically, Jones would repeatedly get in trouble, resulting in him dropping out of Booker T. Washington High School in the 9th grade. Baby grew up in a small house with his mother, who worked in the post office after serving with the Marines, and his 2 sisters. He was the only boy, and I had 2 girls, Miss LaShawn, Baby's mother says. I spent a lot of time with him. He didn't really have anybody. Baby's father was absent. There's really a lot of things about the hard life and come up with the rapper that you didn't know about, And all that will be covered in this documentary video. But before we take a full dive, I want you to take 1 second out of your precious time to leave me a like. Then,
You know what? I'm gonna leave him a like. And if you're watching, you should leave him a like too. In fact, I'm gonna just give him a like and a subscribe, guys. You know, we gotta spread the love.
drop a comment in the comment section below telling me what issues in the world of rap you want to see me make videos about. Once you've done that, go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and turn on the notification bell icon right beside it so that you'll get notified by YouTube when I drop your requested video. And now that I know you've liked, commented, subscribed, and turned on notifications, let's take a deep dive into the life of Lil Baby. When asked how that shaped your son, LaShawn says, "I guess you can't miss what you never had. It wasn't like his father was in the picture and then took off." By 16, Baby was getting what he calls real money, enough to afford apartments and cars that would make most high schoolers jealous. Around that time, he was dubbed Lil Baby by a man named Wicked. "I used to be going to sleep wherever. I used to leave my trash everywhere. Typical Lil Baby shit," Baby says. "They start calling me Lil Baby." Eventually, Baby would stop attending high school, committing full-time to drug dealing, needing the money more than anything, he says. "I knew all the drug dealers around my neighborhood. When I was like 10 or 11, I was hanging out with a dude who was like 17. He was getting money to buy a car, having his own little spot. So he was a lot of my motivation, too. By the time Baby turned 17 himself, he had 2 condominiums that cost about $2,000 a month. Meanwhile, Baby was beginning to see the way his friends' lives were changing. Young Thug was ahead of him at Booker T. Washington High School, and at one point, he shared a condo with Offset.
Wait, what? Yo, I knew Baby was like financially wise, but wait, hold on. You hear that?
Meanwhile, Baby was beginning to see 2 condominiums that cost about $2,000 a month. Me turned 17 himself, he had 2 condominiums that cost about $2,000 a month.
What are you saying? He was renting 2 spots? Okay, if that's what you're saying, I thought you said he owned, like, imagine if he owned two spots and his income was $2K a month at 17. I would have been very impressed. But then again, can you even buy property at 17?
Meanwhile, Baby was beginning to see the way his friends' lives were changing. Young Thug was ahead of him at Booker T. Washington High School, and at one point, he shared a condo with Offset. Offset was the rapper, Baby remembers. He's coming to me like, "I got a 2-bedroom condo, give you half of it." But he was going on the road, so shit, it was really like my condo. Then at 20, it finally caught up to Baby. After being sent to jail 3 times, he was inevitably sent to prison for about 2 years on weapons and drug charges. You're gonna have to be there to actually just fathom what it was like. He says of his time behind bars, it's misery. By Baby's estimate, he knows 20 people currently serving life sentences. 5 of those are close personal friends. He refers to Quality Control Studio, a space the size of a couple of conference rooms. "Imagine just sitting in QC until you die," he says. "Whether you do everything I tell you to do, you're in here until you die. So you ain't living no other purpose until you die. Man, that's a fucked up way to live. I'd rather everybody you get a life sentence and they just take you in the back and kill you. I guarantee you ask half of the people who got a life sentence if they'd rather be taken out back right now and killed. They'll say, yeah, guaranteed. Because what are you living for?" "Hardest thing I've ever had to see in my life," Miss LaShawn says of watching her son go to prison. "I hope and pray I never have to go through anything like that again." She visited him every weekend during his sentence, and she distinctly remembers conversations that would ultimately change their lives. He had called home, we talked like we always talked, and I asked him what was his plan when he got out. He was like, "Mom, I want to be a rapper." I was like, "A rapper? Really? You know how when people go away they say anything?" But the day he came home, he went to the studio, and it took off after that. Before he was a rapper, Baby was a constant presence in the orbit of QC. When Migos, Rich the Kid, Skippa da Flippa, and Lil Duke were cutting their teeth in the label studio, he was right there, not rapping. A weed dealer with a prestigious reputation, Baby would wait for rappers to return from shows flush with cash that he might take from them one way or another. They was getting money, but goddamn, Baby says, still incredulous. They probably get like 30 grand a show, but they're doing 3, 4 shows, so they come back with 50, 60, and I might win the whole 50. It was Coach K who noticed something in 17-year-old Baby the young dealer had yet to see in himself. K is the power broker behind the Millennium's first cadre of the Atlanta legend.
And you know what's crazy? Everybody said this about Lil Baby. Even Young Thug said this in an interview that he was just getting money. Just getting money at a very young age. Like he already, apparently, Young Thug, I think he said Lil Baby had millions of dollars by the time he was 18. Off of trapping and all that.
Young Jeezy, Gucci Mane, and those shaping the city's future, Migos and Lil Yachty. With a salt and pepper beard and a slow gait, he's a calm at the center of quality control's constant hurricane. In Baby, he saw someone with the voice, style, and respect required for success in Atlanta's rap ecosystem. I remember one day we was standing outside the studio, Coach K says. I'll never forget this. He had on all white, and I was just like, Baby, man, why don't you rap? Like, you got the swag, you got the lingo. You get respect around the city from the east side to the west side to the south side. Why don't you rap? He used to be like, Coach, I'm a street inbird. He used to laugh at me. Rap is a genre built on embellishment and inspires correctional officers with delusions of grandeur to become fox kingpins and multicolored internet trolls to envision themselves as the most notorious gang member in America. But Baby's life was already interesting. He didn't need hyperbole. I was just like, shit, half these rappers telling your story, Coach K continues. Dog, your shit's so real, I bet if you decide to do it, you're going to be big. By any standards, Lil Baby's rise was unnervingly fast. After Coach K's cajoling, Baby recruited Young Thug,
That's a fact. Unnervingly fast, bro. Lil Baby just hop on and popped off, bro.
in Atlanta supremely fast. After Coach K's cajoling, Baby recruited Young Thug, already an Atlanta superstar, and his future collaborator Guna to help teach him how to rap. It turned out he was good at it, a dexterous rhymer with a strong grasp of melody, firmly in the traditions of late 2010s Atlanta hip-hop. He favored booming trap drums, smearing autotune, and working at a frighteningly productive pace. Within 3 years, he was a star. His second album, My Turn, was released in February and is the most streamed in the US last year. Then, the country began to fall apart. In the wake of George Floyd's killing, Lil Baby, like millions of other Americans, took to the streets to protest. That type of shit I would want to do if I wasn't a rapper, he said. It's like something that's going on in history and time. But unlike the majority of protesters still marching for change, Lil Baby wrote a song about it. Released in June, The Bigger Picture was a daringly precise stream of consciousness that finds Baby grappling with the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Rayshard Brooks against a simple piano-led beat. They're killing us for no reason, been going on for too long to get even, he raps. Throws us in cages like dogs and hyenas. I went to court, they sent me to prison. According to Baby and his team, the proceeds from the song will be donated to a variety of organizations. To Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture isn't a protest song. I just rap about my life. All my songs are basically about me, Baby says. It was at a point where I felt I needed to say something. Before he was a platinum-selling rapper, the system made sure to underscore the fact that his black life didn't matter. The Bigger Picture isn't a radical gesture. It's Baby's sheer existence that's a more potent act of protest. Now this shit counts, he says. You gonna hear me. I've been a victim of police brutality, he continues nonchalantly. I've been in prison where white officers control you. I've been in a court system where white judges give you a different time than they would give someone white. There have been times I had a physical altercation with an officer, and he then grabbed me and took me to a room where there's no camera. We have a physical altercation and left me in a room for about an hour. I'm in there yelling and screaming. I'm so accustomed to it, we don't even make it no big deal. Where we come from, we've got so accustomed to something going wrong, right? Ain't nothing we're gonna be able to do about it. I'm from Atlanta, where they had a unit of police that got dismantled for police brutality. The Red Dogs got dismantled for using way too much force. That shit an everyday thing where I'm from. The Bigger Picture is among the most urgent artist statements released since Black Lives Matter exploded into, by some accounts, the biggest American protest movement ever recorded. Even if Baby isn't rapping about anyone but himself, it's clear people are listening. The Bigger Picture has been streamed more than 100 million times, and Coach K says it brought a new level of attention to Baby's entire catalog. The Bigger Picture shouldn't have been necessary for people to take Baby seriously. The socio-political screed wasn't a surprise for Lil Baby.
I remember when this song came out. I was living in Philly when all of this happened. And I remember marching. I think this song was playing all through. Like, I remember this song and it was feeling like an anthem, bro. It really was feeling like a whole anthem, so I could understand if it increased its
People are
whole
listening.
catalog.
The Bigger Picture has been streamed more than 100 million times, and Coach K says it brought a new level of attention to Baby's entire catalog. The Bigger Picture shouldn't have been necessary for people to take Baby seriously. The socio-political screed wasn't a surprise for Lil Baby or his fans. He's always been a thoughtful writer, wrapped in bass-filled beats. But for those not paying attention, or with a predisposition to writing off trap MCs in favor of more traditional lyricists like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, it was a culture shock. Someone who talks like Baby, draw and all, isn't the type of rapper who tends to be critically revered or obsessively analyzed. But he has long been discussing the ground-level effects of systematic racism and brutality. It's impossible to escape. And as a new generation of protesters take to the streets, it's not the jubilant Kendrick and Pharrell refrain of "we gon' be alright" that they're often heard shouting. Instead, people demand that cops move, bitch, like Ludacris, or summon the spirit of the late Pop Smoke when chanting Christian, Dior, Dior, I'm up in all the stores, when it rains, it pours. The Bigger Picture isn't perfect. At points, it seems as if it hedges its bets. Corrupted police have been the problem from where I'm from, Baby raps in the second verse, but I'd be lying if I said it was all of them. When pushed on the idea that there can't be good police in a fundamentally flawed and racist system, Baby pushes back. Just because you work in a racist system doesn't mean you're racist, he explains. Damn near every system that got a job is a racist system, you know what I mean? CEOs be like old white people. You never know, they gotta be some kind of racist, because at some certain age, your parent, that was the way of life almost. So I almost feel like all these corporations or whatnot may be racist, and black people are racist too. To me, a racist is someone who treats a different race than theirs a different way than they would treat theirs, Baby says. I feel like if you're a black person and you treat all black people one way and all white people one way, you're racist. I'm not racist, so I give a white person a chance to talk, and actually we get into it before I can say I don't like you or not. And I feel the same way about a black person. You ain't gonna be my buddy just cause you're black, just straight up. In 2017, Lil Baby introduced viewers to his world in the video for his first breakout moment, My Dog.
Yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
With an auto-tune draw, Baby painted a life he was partially still entrenched in. Me and my dogs, who try to run in your house, he sang. We want them bricks, we want the money, you can keep all of the pounds. 3 years later, riding past the Oakland Food Mart prominently featured in the video, it's hard not to know that his baby has become more economically free. His old neighborhood, too, has become a hotspot for the free market to take root. In 2013, $18 million in federal funding was secured for Atlanta's Beltline, a project to develop a trail through the city that accelerated gentrification in neighborhoods like the West End. 5 years later, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution dubbed the West End one of the city's upward trending neighborhoods. Lil Baby's debut studio album, Harder Than Ever, 2018, was certified RIAA Platinum, and included the song Yes Indeed with Drake, which peaked at 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. It went on to release 2 more mixtapes in 2018, Drip Harder and Street Gossip, the former containing his most popular song, Drip Too Hard, which peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the latter peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard 200. Lil Baby's second studio album, My Turn 2020, peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and is certified 2 times platinum by the RIAA. The song We Paid from the album, which features 42 Doug, charted at number 10 on the Hot 100. In June 2020, he released the single The Bigger Picture, which peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100 and became the highest charting song of his career. Throughout his career, Lil Baby has been nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, 2 American Music Awards, 2 MTV Video Music Awards, and several BET Awards. He has been crowned as the biggest all-genre artist of the year at the Apple Music Awards 2020. Pierre P. Thomas, Quality Control's CEO, knew firsthand the allure of Baby's old life. P, fatherly and proud when discussing his signee, has known Baby roughly since 2010, when he was a wiry teenager. He used to run around with my best friend Big, P says. Baby is like my brother. While Baby was locked up, P began planting seeds. When he was in prison, I used to talk to him and tell him like, yo, when you come home, try to get in the studio and rap, P continues. I had a big influence in Baby switching over from the streets to the music. In early 2012, he was charged for possession with intent to sell, among other charges. His original lawyer urged him to take a 2-year plea deal, but Jones refused and acquired a new lawyer. This new lawyer placed Jones in a special program that would only hold him for a year. While in this program, he got into an altercation with a white prisoner over racial comments. After Jones' sentencing was replaced with the original 2-year deal. Later, in 2013, he had a charge of possession of marijuana, less than an ounce. In 2014, he was arrested again and charged with possession of marijuana with intent to sell, among other things. After being incarcerated for 2 years, he began his rap career with 4PF, 4 Pockets Full, and Quality Control Music. A couple of days after his release from prison in 2016, Baby arrived at the studio ready to rap. After trying and failing to make a fully realized song, Baby said fuck it and abandoned his dream. It wasn't until January 2017 that he'd finally commit to his new path and finish a song. Days Off, the introduction to Baby's inaugural mixtape, Perfect Timing, shows off a voice he had yet to settle into, and nasally delivery that sounds like an unpolished imitation of Future. Baby raps, savage for the money, going hard for my kids, sometimes I had nightmares about the shit that we did. From there, Baby's palette developed as he learned to mind feelings of heartbreak, close friends, and despair, emotionally scarred, all while his technical skills sharpened. On songs like Spaz and Pure Cocaine, Baby grew more and more deft. The speed of
Yo, Pure Cocaine, that's one of my favorite songs from Baby. Hey.
His performance and the growing fluidity of his delivery were antithetical to the hypnotic repetitiveness of peers like Guna and 21 Savage. He'd continue to contend with his past on record, but he is adamant that his songs are not about him wrestling with any internal guilt he has yet to shake. You keep saying guilt, Baby says. I ain't never been guilty. Even if I did it, I ain't guilty. I don't got no guilty conscience. I'm a firm believer in what's done is done, and I don't believe in conflict, I believe in manifestation. As Baby began to finish songs, P saw an opportunity to saturate the market. In 2017 alone, Baby released 4 projects. The following year, he dropped 3 more. P's formula was simple. Grab whatever songs Baby had lying around, sequence them, commission artwork, release to streaming services, repeat. The most challenging part wasn't even making the music, but persuading Baby to hit the same circuit that forged the now legendary work ethics of his predecessors, Migos. I had to argue with him sometimes, because at the time he was making a lot of money on the streets, and I used to put him on the road to do promo, P explains. He used to go through the Chitlin circuits and do shows, but he wasn't getting paid. He might be getting $500 to $1,000 a show. In order for him to do these shows, he got to get a van, drive there, 4 hours, go to the show, and come back. Rashad, Baby's avidable day-to-day manager, vividly remembers taking the budding artist to hole-in-the-wall clubs in places like Jackson, Mississippi.
Imagine that, now you could get it. Imagine if you making $10,000-$20,000 from your trap house, and somebody want you to drive 4 hours to make $500. You can get why somebody would be like, nah, I'm cool off that, cause I'm cool. So you can get it if this is true.
Zippy vividly remembers taking and come back. Rashad, he might be getting $500 to $1,000 a show. In order for him to do these shows, he got to get a van, drive there, 4 hours, go to the show, and come back. Rashad, Baby's avidable day-to-day manager, vividly remembers taking the budding artist to hole-in-the-wall clubs in places like Jackson, Mississippi. Seeing him perform in these clubs, you don't have production, you don't have a screen, you don't have pyrotechnics, you don't have CO2. I don't even think we had a DJ. I think I was just telling the DJ, like the club DJ, what song to play at the time. Like he would be the performer, I would be in the DJ booth for the DJ, like cool, play this song next, play that song. Shortly after his release from prison, Jones released his mixtape, Perfect Timing, with features from Young Thug, Lil Yachty, and others. He released his second mixtape entitled Harder Than Hard on July 18, 2017. On October 9, 2017, Jones released a collaboration mixtape with close friend and a fellow Atlanta rapper, Marlo, To The Hard Way. This mixtape did not create as big an impact as the former 2 tapes, but still garnered some attention. Through the success of the single, Jones attracted much attention towards his mixtape. When the mixtape was finally released, it featured the single All of a Sudden, which featured rapper and friend Moneybagg Yo. The mixtape was defining of much of Jones' current career. In May 2018, Baby released his debut studio album, Harder Than Ever, which debuted at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 chart. The album was supported by the singles Southside and Yes Indeed with Drake. The latter peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. Life Goes On, featuring Lil Uzi Vert and Guna, charted at 74 on the Billboard Hot 100. After Lil Baby released Harder Than Ever, he released his collaboration mixtape, Drip Harder, with label mate and close friend Guna on October 5, 2018. The lead single, Drip Too Hard, went on to become certified RIA Platinum and MC Platinum, peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and became nominated for Best Rap Song Performance at the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards. The mixtape was released under the labels Quality Control, YSL Records, and Motown Capital. He has an upcoming song with Young Thug and Jahomie, an underrated artist from New York in 2022 that has been teased for the past 3 years. In September 2018, Baby appeared in the Adult Swim television series Fish Center Live. In November 2018, he released his mixtape Street Gossip, and in December 2018, Baby collaborated with Young Gravy on the latter single, Alley Hoop. He starred in How High 2, the sequel to the 2001 stoner film How High, which premiered on April 20th, 2019 on MTV. On June 21st, 2019, Baby and rapper Future released the second title, Out of the Mud. On July 17, 2019, Lil Baby...
I did not know there was a How High 2. Hold on, yo.
November 2018, he released his mixtape Street Gossip, and in December 2018, Baby collaborated with Young Gravy on the latter single, Alley Hoop. He starred in How High 2, the sequel to the 2001 stoner film How High, which premiered on April 20th, 2019 on MTV. On June 21st, 2019, Baby and rapper Future released the second title, Out of the Mud. On July 17, 2019, Lil Baby appeared alongside the Baby on the single Baby, released on Quality Control's second studio album, Control the Streets, Volume 2. The song peaked at number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100. On November 8, 2019, Baby released his single, Whoa, as the lead single for his second studio album, My Turn. The song peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. On November 9, 2019, Baby, who was featured in YouTuber KSI's song, Down Like That, along with fellow rapper Rick Ross and British producers SX, performed it for the KSI's Ring Walk at Staples Center for his fight against YouTuber Logan Paul. On November 15, 2019, Baby released a song from the film Queen and Slim, titled Catch the Sun, which subsequently appeared on My Turn. On January 10, 2020, Lil Baby released the second single, Some to Prove, for his album, and it reached number 16 on the Hot 100. The album My Turn was released on February 28, 2020, and debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200. It features guest appearances from Guna, 42 Doug, Future, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Wayne, Moneybagg Yo, Young Thug, and Ryla Rodriguez. My Turn produced 12 songs that appeared on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, giving him a career total of 47 songs on the chart, putting him at a tie with Prince and Paul McCartney. Following the release of the album's deluxe version on May 1st, My Turn returned to the top spot on the Billboard 200. On June 12, 2020, Lil Baby released a political song, The Bigger Picture, amid the George Floyd protests. The song also debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Lil Baby's highest charting song. His song We Paid, featuring 42 Doug from the My Turn Deluxe, also peaked in the top 10 at the Hot 100. In July 2020, Lil Baby was featured on Pop Smoke's For the Night from his posthumous debut album Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. The track reached number 6 on the Hot 100. In September 2020, My Turn became the first album of the year to be certified double platinum by the RIAA. The Bigger Picture received 2 nominations at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards, Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song. Earlier in the year, Jones stopped dating girlfriend Jada Cheeves. They had a child together, born on February 18, 2019. She appeared in the music video for his song, Close Friends. He has 2 sons. For Baby, the process was slow. He used to be really frustrated, like, this ain't nothing, I make more money than this in the streets, P remembers. I used to always tell him, but you don't have to deal with the consequences that you have to deal with in the streets. You ain't taking no chances with your life and your freedom. I used to have to instill in his head to just trust the process. I used to always tell him, baby, just trust me, it's going to pay off in the end. A drug shortage finally curbed Baby's appetite for his old life and cemented his commitment to a music career. It probably was a drought for 3 weeks, he says, so I was like, I'm straight, I don't want to do it no more. So when it was time to go back and everybody got some again, I didn't get none, I just stayed rapping. Lil Baby isn't even 5 years into his career, and he's already envisioning a dramatized version of his life, whether that be a movie or documentary. That's why I really don't want to talk, because my shit be raw. I feel like my story before I got here is just like 1 in a million.
That's crazy though. Even after like all, at this point, he's already popping. He already more successful than Prince. And he's still saying, nah, bro, this ain't nothing, bro. I was making more money. But then again, it's true, too, because, like, streaming services, they take, like, a year, 9 months to a year to register your song, like, fully register your song. sometimes it take that long. I mean, I would assume that once you reach a certain level, you can get it done faster. But yeah, he would have been waiting a while for his biggest of checks, and the money that he would be getting in 2-3 months from music probably was nothing compared to what he was getting in the streets for real. So that makes sense. But just imagine you doing all this and you still saying, bro, and it takes us a 3-week shortage for you to say, I'm cool off this. That's crazy.
Epic. Lil Baby isn't even 5 years into his career, and he's already envisioning a dramatized version of his life, whether that be a movie or documentary. That's why I really don't want to talk, because my shit be raw. I feel like my story before I got here is just like 1 in a million, so I don't want to give it up yet. We look forward to more good music from the rapper. And that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed watching the video, go ahead and demolish that like button. Then, like I said earlier, tell me in the comment section what rapper or issues in the music industry you would want to see me make.
This was a nice video. I already liked it. I already subscribed to it. And now we could go back to the
locating a brown
1090
Oldsmobile matching the description given. The vehicle was pulled over with
and learn a little bit more about how long is this, 13 minutes? I got
2 men and a woman inside, with the front passenger being identified as Ontario's Keon McClinton, who officers confirmed had a murder warrant out of Fulton County. An investigator arrived at the mall where the call originated and met with Pierre Thomas, who's more commonly known as P, the CEO of Quality Control Music. P stated to the investigator he was at the mall when he recognized the man he knew as Keon. P told the investigator Keon was the same man who previously shot him and killed his friend, which led to the warrant for murder. P would continue by telling the investigator he confronted Keon, even chasing him to his vehicle where Keon grabbed a handgun. That's when P would run for the mall as Keon chased behind him saying, "I'm gonna kill you." P would state he was in fear for his life, hid in the mall, and came back out to see Keon was leaving the area. P would also provide a written statement. According to the written statement, Pierre listed himself as a victim or witness and wrote, "I confronted him about murder and chased him to the car. He got a pistol and chased me in the mall, threatening to kill me." The officer would write, "How do you know the subject?" And P would answer, "He shot me and killed my friend." The officer then asked, "What type of gun was it?" And P answered, "A black handgun." On the second piece of paper, the officer would ask, "Did he make any comments?" And P would write, "I'm gonna kill you." The officer then wrote, "Did you fear for your life?" And P answered yes.
Oh, no shit.
Pierre Thomas would sign both pieces of paper along with the witnessing officer who received the statement. Keon would be read his Miranda rights before saying he was at the mall when a man with a red hat approached him, repeatedly asking if he knew him and saying he knew who he was. Keon said the man's friends began to surround him when he took off running to the car. Reaching the car, he pointed his finger at the man with the hat, who was now leaving the scene. Keon denied having a firearm or pointing one at anyone. The vehicle would be impounded and no weapon would be recovered, but Keon would be charged with aggravated assault anyways and taken to jail to also face the murder warrant. 8 days later, Keon would be indicted on charges of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony for alleged...
I got my electric eraser here. It's actually my first one, and drawing this little baby is the first time I'm using it. Let me pull this eraser out. I got it a few weeks ago. It's pretty cool actually. Gets the job done real quick.
Lily pointing a handgun and threatening Pierre Thomas. Within the witness list, he would be the only civilian listed, and his statement would be the only evidence against Keon. Incarcerated for roughly 3 months, Keon would be indicted on 7 new charges. The state would allege that on December 8, 2009, Pierre Thomas, or P, went over to an apartment complex belonging to Araine Dennis. He had intended on playing Xbox and betting on a basketball game within the apartment that was said to be a marijuana trap house. While at the apartment, a man that evidence later identified as Keon arrived looking for the apartment owner, Karan, who was outside walking the dog. He told Keon to come back a little later. Karan would make his way back to the apartment, and not long after, Keon would arrive looking to buy marijuana. When Karan went to get it, Keon was said to have opened fire, shooting Karan multiple times before firing at P. P would run for the sliding glass door, making his way 2 apartments over, where he told the tenant he'd been shot and to call the police. Karan would die from his injuries, and investigators would determine it to be a murder robbery. Through the course of the investigation, police interviewed P, the surviving victim. P provided them with a description stating the suspect was approximately 6 feet tall, 200 pounds with a mohawk, and a possible tattoo on his face. Time would go by since the day of the shooting, and P would occasionally relay information to the police about stuff that he had heard on the street, identifying Keon, a suspect, or who he heard might have been responsible for killing his friend. He provided some info to the police, and they were able to put a person into a photo lineup, but P did not make an identification. A few more months went by, and P provided information to the police that he had heard that the suspect goes by the name Stunner, and he'd previously been shot in a club. Looking into the nickname, police were able to identify Keon as having used that nickname and having been a shooting victim. 5 months had now passed since P had been shot, and with a new photo lineup presented, P was able to positively identify Keon, or Stunner, as the man who shot him and killed his friend. Police believed it was apparent P had seen a photograph of Stunner prior to viewing the lineup. Because of the positive identification, the warrant for murder went out, and 3 weeks after, P would confront Stunner in the mall before running for his life. Stunner would write a letter to the judge and call out P for his lies that led to his incarceration. He'd introduce himself and say, "I have been incarcerated for approximately 6 months under false pretenses. The accusee, Mr. Pierre Thomas, has made false accusations such as claiming that I shot at him and supposedly killed his friend. Fearing that I would retaliate and seek vengeance for him shooting me 4 times on April 30th of 2010, Pierre Thomas went down to the police department and took a warrant out on me." So in a surprising turn of events, Stunner was now claiming P previously shot him, or knows who shot him.
Wait, hold on. What a turn.
Went down to him shooting me, supposedly killed his friend. Has made false accusations such as claiming that I shot at him and supposedly killed his friend. Fearing that I would retaliate and seek vengeance for him shooting me 4 times on April 30th of 2010, Pierre Thomas went down to the police department and took a warrant out on me. So in a surprising turn of events, Stunner was now claiming P previously shot him, or knows who shot him, and because P thought Stunner was going to retaliate, P went to the police and snitched on Stunner. March 16th, 2012. Stunner would be re-indicted, now facing a total of 10 charges, including murder, 2 felony murders, and 2 aggravated assaults. All charges would stem from the 2 incidents involving P, the initial shooting at the apartment, and the mall confrontation. 4 days later, Stunner would be ready to face sentencing. According to the guilty plea transcripts, a then 30-year-old Stunner stood in front of a judge as she explained he was charged with 10 counts, but the state had agreed to dismiss 6 of them. He pled guilty to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The state would go over the 2 cases and 2 witnesses, Karan Dennis and Pierre Thomas. The judge would receive the details of the shooting, the cooperation of Pierre Thomas, and how Stunner was able to be identified solely by Pierre Thomas's voluntary cooperation by steadily supplying investigators with tips as the months progressed. Pierre would confront Stunner in a mall before running for his life and immediately sought the police as he told them of the murder warrant he helped secure against Stunner. This arrest would place new charges on Stunner where yet again, Pierre Thomas was the only witness and his statement was the main piece of evidence linking Stunner to any crime. Pierre would be notified by the prosecutors of the negotiations that had been agreed to, and Stunner would be sentenced to 20 years in state prison, with 10 to serve and the remainder to be served on probation. Only a year after Stunner's sentencing, Pierre Thomas, who we all now know as P, would co-found Quality Control Music, becoming the CEO of one of Atlanta's rising music labels. With the superstar roster like the Migos, Lil Yachty, Lil Baby, and many more, P's power, wealth, and fame would also be on the rise, with only those close to the city knowing what took place before his career took off. Given credit for the 2 years spent in jail, it wouldn't be until May of 2019 when Stunner was approved for parole.
Hey yo guys, what's up? So I'm here editing my video and I realized that the frame rate speed and the audio speed don't line up, and the video also cut short. I'm not sure why that happened. Like that that never happened before, and I actually recorded a bunch of content that I'm working on to schedule in order, in a sequence. And I swear I went over them and they looked fine, so I'm gonna have to double check them and see. And it'll be unfortunate if they're all like this, because then I'll have to do over all that content, knowing that I know, that's just how I move. I try to be as, like, some say perfectionist, but I try sometimes, but then sometimes I just, like, intentionally just put it out simply because you say you're gonna put it out. You gotta, keep yourself accountable to some degree, or at least try to. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to get back as consistent as I once was, because I know that if I remained or retained that level of consistency, I would be a lot more content right now with where my, standing is in certain things. So that's what I'm trying to do. I made this video with the intent of getting it out today. And I've been working on it since yesterday. So, like, I recorded yesterday and I'm editing today. And while editing, I noticed that, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead instead of redo the video tonight, because I don't have enough time to. I'm gonna just go ahead and put out what I got, and if anything, come back to it and do another one, try to see if I could fix the issue. And after doing another one, then I'll put that back out for you guys. And, hopefully you could draw along to it just like you did with this one. I hope you are drawing to it, because remember, the whole point of these reaction videos is just something to, fill up the space, The main point is that we're trying to improve our drawing skill set, and the only way you could do that is by drawing, like, consistency, by doing it every day or as often as you can. It doesn't matter what you're drawing. That's the whole beauty of art and any form of creativity, no matter what it is, as long as you keep doing it. I mean, that's pretty much anything in life, practice makes perfect, practice makes permanent. So yeah, I'm trying to stay consistent, and I made this content to put it out for you. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just letting you know that I know there's an issue. I saw it myself. I chose to put it out this way simply because of the simple fact that I had intended to put it out, and I will work on getting that issue fixed as soon as possible before putting out any other reaction videos. I don't know if it's because I'm recording dual screens, or if the software or the computer or what, but I'll try to figure it out. So until then, have a good night, everyone, and I'll see you soon.